Nobody really cares if Sarah stands up and tells them how things are going to be in their new job, but they do care if Bob, the guy that they trust and they know is always kind of, got a discerning eye towards their well-being and their success. If he stands up and says it, then that's a really different message.
So I specialize in organizational change management, lovingly known as OCM. And OCM, if I had to explain it to someone that didn't know what the concept was, I would say it's the air we breathe as consultants. It's taking the client and guiding them through change in a structured, thoughtful, organized way.
I've learned that business process improvement is not just about the solution you build, but how people receive it and implement it. And I think OCM is at the very, very core of that.
Change management can be a really tricky thing to execute on because when you are in school or you're learning about it for the first time, it's very cleanly laid out in a process. But that process, when applied in real life, doesn't always go that way, right? So it's really important, and I wish more people understood and were comfortable with the ambiguity around change management. Those things aren't always gonna go exactly how they were laid out on page 60 of the textbook, and that's okay.
So if change never goes exactly as planned, never by the book, how do you actually figure out what a client needs?
One of the most important things I think that we can do is to really understand what life is like for our clients, because it's easy to come in with a process that we think is going to work, it's tried and true for us, but that particular client might not be comfortable or they might not like this piece or that piece. So I think it's really important to make them part of the key decision making, to make them part of the process up front.
Part of diagnosing a challenge or an issue or whatever it is when a client is coming to me to talk about something is, of course, the basics, listening, but listening without judgment and not go, oh my gosh, I have to know what service are we going to do, exactly how am I going to solve their problem. I'm able to be present enough with them to really understand not just the problem they're telling me, like the words that they're saying, but like what's the problem behind the problem and what does that really affect for them, to then be able to more comprehensively come in with, all right, here's what I heard, here's what it's affecting, here are a couple different options of what we may do. Maybe it's not even me, maybe this isn't even the right solution, but really be able to build that trust with them to be able to give a tailored recommendation. So I think without getting super nerdy into some kind of, programmable framework to be able to handle something like this, kind of what goes through my head when I am needing to break something like this down to get to a solution or an approach is distilling what I'm hearing into a problem statement. So, 1 to 2 sentences, what are they struggling with and what is it affecting? Something really simple. Then I like to look at some of the maybe constraints or the barriers, right? I'm thinking of a recent example where a client was looking to take a lot of forms that were paper and make them all automated. Great, I've got 15 million different solutions. They're gonna cost you as many numbers as that is as dollars, right? But that's not really in their constraints. So being able to, what are some of the constraints we need to apply to the situation, whether it's time, is that limited? Are resources limited? Is budget limited? Any of these types of things. And then in close collaboration, either with someone who knows that client really well, if I haven't worked with them a long time, maybe even a coworker, love working with everyone that we have at UL, be able to come up with what are some options, right? It's typically not just here's the one solution and one approach, but several options for them to be able to take a look at given the constraints and their unique problem statement.
Something that we do as change agents is ask why a lot. So you'll hear about the 5 whys framework where you just continue to ask why until you get down to the root cause. And I think it's a fun and easy framework to implement, not just in conversations with clients, but also in your personal life.
Many leaders struggle with getting buy-in from teams during periods of change. Have you run into this challenge, and how did you help teams move forward?
Yeah, so that's pretty typical. I would say most engagements that we have where we're moving through change, that is true. And I think some of the key things that have helped us to be successful are, one, really engaging all the right people. So really understanding who your stakeholders are and making sure that those people are engaged. And that doesn't mean the yes people. So often what that means is figuring out who are the influencers out there. And those might be the people who are your greatest resistors. But if you can pull them in and make them part of the process, those are going to be your key champions. Nobody really cares if, Sarah stands up and tells them how things things are going to be in their new job. But they do care if Bob, the guy that they trust and they know is always kind of, got a discerning eye towards their well-being and their success. If he stands up and says it, then that's a really different message. So being okay and comfortable with being kind of the wizard in the background and doing the work in the background and allowing them to lead that change, that 100% is going to give you better buy-in and ultimately a better result.
One sort of principle of change management that I find especially helpful for clients is the idea of leading them through that journey of understanding the change that's to come, adapting to that change, and then accepting that change is always going to be there. I think change is scary for all of us. We can be apprehensive to it sometimes if we're comfortable. We can even be excited about it, but still scared if we're ready for that change and we just don't know where it's going to lead us. So being able to understand what the change is going to be, accept that that change is going to happen, and then adapt to it is really powerful. There's something insanely predictable about group dynamics, and Tuckman's stages of development kind of defines these 4 key stages that teams undergo, from forming to storming to norming and then performing. I think it's really exciting when a team enters the storming stage. That sounds a little funny, but I just find it to be really exciting because that just shows the team is developing and growing together, and we're really getting to the root problems that, once addressed, are going to really allow us to soar and perform.
Putting yourself in their shoes and really understanding, if I were working in that position, in that particular organization, this particular situation, and all of the things that are surrounding that individual and impacting them and their decision making and how they show up, what would be important to me to know, what would be valuable, and how can I build trust as fast as possible so that we can start to execute and show them real value and show them real meaningful change. They understand me. They've taken the time to really make sure that they understand all of the risks associated, and that I'm the one as the client that's going to be held accountable inside the organization if this doesn't go well. So what sort of securities do I have to ensure that this is actually going to be worth my time, my energy, my money? To me, that's a big win, because when clients feel like, you know what, I haven't been at the meetings, I haven't been participating in all the decision making, that to me is a strong indicator of trust, because they feel like UL's got it. They know what they're doing. They know what pressures I'm under. They know what it's going to take to be successful.
I think it's about the journey and not the destination, right? When I'm working with someone and they've got to change a process or do something that's totally different than they wanted to, right? And I can reflect on what that journey was, what it took them to do, the changes, the mindset changes that they had to make of totally resistant, I will not do that thing, that is the worst thing, and like, you couldn't pay me more to do that, whatever it looks like, to I'm so bought in that I'm going to be your biggest change advocate and for help get other people on board. And so, like I said, it's only in retrospect usually, because there's a big jump between stage 1 and stage 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. But when I can take a step back and appreciate the little moments that they have, or I got to watch them have a light bulb moment, or a little bit more comfortable, or I'm willing to try that, like that's what keeps it up for me.
A lot of change managers get stuck when clients say they just need change to happen faster. How do you respond when timelines may conflict with culture readiness?
It's really important to remember that this isn't our effort, right? We are there to help support, drive, give them tools and resources, but this is the client's project. And so when timelines conflict with culture readiness, or you have leaders who are saying, I just need change to happen faster, it's really important for us to step back and say, well, here are some options, right? If we do X, the culture maybe is not ready because of this factor. One of the things that we can do to increase cultural readiness are these, efforts, projects, things that we're going to engage you with, but that's going to take a little time. So if we do this, it impacts your timeline in this way. The other option is that we meet this timeline, but we may have resistance, we may have these things are going to fall out as a result. At the end of the day, it's their decision, right? This isn't our organization, it's not our project. We are there to help support and make them successful. And I think that's a really important differentiator for consultants to remember.
Change is scary, and leading people through change isn't always easy. What is it about the UL team that makes this kind of work possible?
So one of the things that I love is that we have a really high-performing team that shares knowledge, jumps in and helps each other when needed, and we're learning all kinds of different things from each other all the time. and at the same time are consistently united and focused on delivering on UL's strategic mission. And so I think we're doing great things in the community. I think that we're delivering real value for really cool projects and really great clients out in the community. And that to me is a really rewarding thing to do every day.
I think working with UL has taught me to manage and embrace ambiguity a lot. That's one of our core competencies.
I'm definitely grateful because we have a lot of really wonderful and intelligent souls and brains here at Unleashing Leaders, so I'm able to really lean on my team in those moments where I start to feel not so grounded and maybe a little nervous or anxious myself.
What's one takeaway of the UL philosophy or the tools we have discussed in this video that you would want someone watching this to walk away with and remember?
It's not about us, right? It's about our client and making sure that they are engaged and they have all the knowledge and power and tools and resources they need to be successful, and that you've set them up for sustained success. So we don't just come in, drop change and walk out. We've helped build something that's sustainable and they can lead for years to come.